Hi, this is Tiffany from the Christian Book Fair. I'm talking today a little bit about our ministry for the Christian Book Fairs and common questions that we get asked. So, the Christian Book Fair is a 501c3 nonprofit. It ministers to the schools and the children and the families to be able to provide really, really wonderful book fair experience. And then also to be able to get kids excited about reading and provide really good values and virtues and character development in books for children. And then it also fundraise for the school. The profit, 100% of the profit, goes back to the school as a fundraiser for the library, or if it's another organization that's hosting the book fair, to whatever charity that they like. And so the idea is that we want to be able to support different support the kids and the communities and reading, and it's all volunteer run, and it's a nonprofit. We depend on donations, the gracious donations of people out of the goodness of their hearts to be able to continue to do this. And we are also very thankful to God for the publishers, the writers, the authors, the illustrators who provide amazing, wonderful books to be able to distribute in these book fairs. I'm very thankful to God for my children, for inspiring me to be able to do this and trying to find good Christian books for them and for their preschool. Okay, so to the questions. How many books do you carry in the book fairs? So they're live book fairs. We do provide catalog and online, but we really try to encourage live book fairs because we know how exciting that is for the kids and how important it is for them to grow in being able to choose their own books and get excited about reading. And the size of the school and the event that they're having is really how we determine how many books they're going to get. If it's a very small school, like 100 kids, it might be 500 books. If it's a really large school, like if it's 600 kids, or they're having an event, it might be 2,500 books. And if there's more kids than that, it'll be more books. Or if there's less kids, there might be less books. So we just kind of gauge depending on how much we've seen the books sell at different book fairs, how well we think they're going to do based on the number of students and the events they have planned. So, do you carry science books? Sorry. Yes, absolutely. We love science. God gave us science to be able to understand the world around us, and math books, science books, and it's really beautiful. Science is beautiful, wonderful, interesting, and fun, and so kids should be able to enjoy that and thank God for that. Do you carry books that are not Christian? Yes, yeah. So some of our science books are overtly Christian. God made bugs. And then but a lot of them aren't. It's just interesting science information. And joke books. We have a lot of joke books, riddle books, chess game, math books, and then of course we have like classics and books, as long as they inspire a good virtue, a good character growth or development, something inspiring that we believe is in line with what Christians want their children to learn, then we will include those books as well. Most of our books are Christian authors and have some kind of reference to God in them, even and we even carry Bibles. So that leads to the next couple questions. Do you carry classics? Yes, we do. And then the other question is, Bibles. What Bibles do you carry? We carry, for the most part, like children's Bibles, like board books and stuff like that. In terms of like a full Bible, that would be up to the school. We ask the school, what Bible do you want us to provide? And sometimes they might ask us for recommendations, and we provide those. But ultimately, it's the school that makes the decision on that. So why do you have books about the saints? And of course I say to that, I believe we're all called to be saints. And but along those lines, sometimes people are concerned about prayer. And so I do want to point out that we do not carry any books that are praying to saints. All prayer is to God in our books. I know that we carry at least one book about praying the rosary. That is a contemplative prayer for intercession. The first part, the first two parts are actually from the Bible. It's contemplative scripture from the Bible that it's referencing. And the idea is you're contemplating in your prayer the intercession of Jesus through the saints. And then the next part of that prayer is asking a saint. And in that prayer, it's the Blessed Mother Mary, asking the Mary to pray for you, to intercede for you, or for God to intercede through that saint for you, like you just contemplated in those stories in the Bible, right? So the first story is the Annunciation that it references, and the second story it quotes from the Bible is from the Visitation, where Jesus intercedes through the Blessed Mother Mary for Elizabeth and her baby. And so those contemplative intercession prayers, it's not praying to God. Let's see, what other questions do I get? I also get people asking me, why do I call it a Christian book fair, not a Catholic book fair? Well, I mean, Catholics are Christian too, but we do have Protestant books about Protestants and Protestant authors in our book fairs. So it's that's why we call it a Christian book fair. We do not carry books that degrade other people's beliefs. So that is something to. I sometimes people send books that are degrading people for their beliefs or condemning people, and that's not accepted at all in our book fairs. Do we carry toys? Toys are so fun, but no. So the reason is because parents are sending their kids with money to a book fair. They want their kids to come back with books, not a bunch of toys. And but we do provide literary materials, and but they are very, very priced very lowly. So it might be like 25 cents, 50 cents, so that they can still get excited about purchasing little things here and there. But it's not enough that it's going to take away from the child being able to provide to be able to buy a book. Because the goal is to get kids excited about reading. You have to try to get kids excited about toys. So it's a really great opportunity. I can tell you from experience with my kids and talking to the other parents. Some kids might be really great readers. They love reading all the time. Some kids might be great readers, but they're not really interested in it. And then some kids are okay readers, but they're not interested in it. But when you take even kids that aren't interested in reading, that you feel like you're having to talk to them, ask them and beg them to read a book, you take them to a book fair and suddenly they love books and they're begging you, please, can I have this one? Please, please, please. And you're like, just savoring it. So the idea is to get kids excited about reading and books, not more toys. Do we carry books about magic, which is sorcery? Generally, no. That's a no. We try to avoid those as much as possible. There are some exceptions I can think of too. So if it was like a classic, maybe like a classic fairy tale, we might include that. If it was, so the other two classics I can think of are the only ones that have a witch or something like that. One is Narnia, and the reason we include that is because it's not glorifying the witch. The witch is an allusion to evil, to the coldness of our hearts, and then the children are helping through God to be able to overcome and conquer that evil. Great story, by the way. So that's an exception. We do make an exception also for The Hobbit, and the reason is because the hero of that story is not the sorcerer, it's the humble heart, it's the humble hobbit. And I think it's really an interesting and commendable point that in that story, even the most powerful wizard did not have the strength to overcome the evil in that story. It was the humble heart, the humblest of heroes, which makes us think of Jesus, right? And so that I think was actually really exceptionally done, and so that is an exception in our book fair. That that's one that we would allow in our book fair, and because I think it makes such a great point. So if you have any further questions, I'd be happy to answer those as well. You can post them here or call the book fair, and happy reading. I hope you enjoy all the books that we have, and please, we welcome any suggestions as well, and please consider sending some samples or donating to our ministry to be able to continue to provide these wonderful resources to children, families, and schools everywhere. Again, the profits from the book fairs goes to libraries as well as charitable organizations. That's 100% of that profit. So we greatly appreciate any help. God bless.